tell me a little bit about how you were feeling when we first got the news in March 2020 that COVID was here.
So I was very scared. I think I was more fearful of getting it than when I did actually catch it. I just was hearing all the news and all the people losing their lives, and so that kind of just freaked me out a little bit. So I was really nervous. I was always in a panic, or I was always already the clean freak, and I just took it overboard. My kids were like, "Mom, like, are you serious?" Yes, I would buy anything that I can find, sanitary-wise, constantly cleaning the house, cleaning door handles, everything, more than normal. So it really freaked me out.
So you were taking all kind of like safety precautions.
I was. The masks, the sanitizing of my hands. Jahan at the time was playing football, and so I was spraying him down with Lysol before he even got in the car. I was just doing everything so we wouldn't catch it. Like everything under the sun that they said to do, I did.
Okay, so then when you got it, what were your first symptoms?
So what ended up happening is my boss's two daughters caught it first. And so we all work closely together. So even though I was wearing my mask, I still was a little like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You guys are too close to me. So I was real tired, but I thought it was because I was working so many hours because we were busy at work. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So then I wasn't.
Okay, so COVID hit and you guys, your job didn't shut down?
No, ma'am. We were called essential because we furnished schools and worked with the state of Arizona. So we were considered essential. They had thought about shutting us down, but they didn't. When my two bosses, the big bosses, had got it, and then they shut the building down. But then after they were fine, they made everybody come back to work. So we were never shut down. So when the kids had got it, I was like, oh my gosh. So that freaked me out because it was way too close for comfort.
Okay, what, your kids or kids at your job?
The job kids, because the big bosses, they're their kids. So it was family-owned business. But Jahan got it in June of 2021.
Okay.
2021. So Jahan got it, but I stayed away from him. I made him stay in his room. But I was real tired, and I just couldn't figure out why. So I took my temperature the next morning when I woke up because I was feeling a little bit down. I was like, okay, something's wrong with me. My head was on my desk and everything, which is not like me. So I had a temperature of 101.1. That's weird. Maybe it's just because it's hot in the house. So I was like, okay, let me turn on the fan. I'm going to be fine. Went back to sleep, woke up. It was still 100. It was 101.5 at that time. I was like, oh my gosh. So I made an appointment to go get tested, and it came back positive.
Okay, so then at what point did you think, okay, I need to go to the hospital?
I had called my doctor, and she said, well, there's this drug that's out that everyone is taking, some type of pill, but it wasn't FDA approved. And so I said, well, that's kind of like the same thing as this shot. So I didn't take the shot, so why would I take the pill? I said, nope, not doing it. And she said, okay. So she said, well, you need to make sure you keep an eye on your oxygen levels. Okay, fine. So I ordered a little finger thing from Amazon, and it came, and my oxygen kept dropping, and it kept dropping. So I was like, it's going to be okay because everyone around me, it's fine. They got over it. They healed just properly, so I'm going to be just fine too. It kept dropping, and then it was like 89. So I called.
Are you feeling bad too, or are you?
No, I felt just fine.
Oh my God.
I felt fine. That was the weird thing about it. I was still up in my room watching TV, just doing my normal thing, reading the Bible. I didn't feel bad. Just those few days prior, I was real tired, but other than that, I didn't feel bad at all.
Wow.
Which is just weird. And so when my oxygen levels kept dropping, then that's when I started freaking out. I was like, okay, my husband's at work, so I called my mom. I was like, Mom, my oxygen levels are dropping. I think we're just going to go ahead and do this pill that they're saying to take.
Were you having problems breathing?
Mm-mm.
What?
Nothing. It's
Gosh.
just, it was the weirdest thing. So we end up calling, I went online and found this urgent care. It was like 7th Street in McDowell. I said, Mom, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get you. We're going to go. So she gets dressed and we go, and they said they didn't have it. I was like, what do you mean you don't have it? We don't have it here. We run out. Everyone is asking for it. Okay. So then
This would have been 2021,
2021.
Not 2020.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. 2021. Thanksgiving is 2021. So I end up going to Banner Australia Hospital because they said they had it. So I was like, oh, good. Well, I'm just going to go there and get it. And needless to say, nope. They told me, oh, who did you come to the hospital with? I said, my mother. She said, well, you can go ahead and let her know that you're not coming home. Wait, what do you mean? Well, you're going to have to stay. We're going to have to admit you. And I don't do hospitals, like, at all. So that right there freaked me completely out. Wait, you're telling me I'm not going home. My oxygen levels are dropping. So now I'm worried. At that point is when I became worried.
Yes, because your symptoms don't sound like the typical
COVID people. Not at all.
Oh my God!
Not
And
at
I
all.
mean, it's just nothing but the goodness of God that you bought the oxygen thing to check from Amazon.
Because I would have never known.
Oh my God!
I would have never known that my oxygen was dropping if I wouldn't have been checking it regularly like my doctor asked.
Okay, so they decide to keep you. They're going to admit you.
So they kept me. I went in the hospital the day after Thanksgiving. And so they kept me, and they told me turn on my stomach, turn on my side, because they couldn't keep my oxygen levels up. So then they
So
started.
it's getting in your lungs.
Yes. By that time, they had said it was set in my lungs, and it was COVID pneumonia. I think that's what they called it. And so after that, so it was probably like a week, they kept trying different masks on me to see if that would work, and telling me lay this way, lay that way. But nothing would work.
So what was going through your mind at this point?
Fear, because everything they were doing to me, I had literally just lost my aunt in February to COVID. So I saw everything they were doing to her, and now they're doing to me. So that's when I got really, really fearful. Like, oh my God, I know I'm not going out like this. I cannot go out like this. Like, I have 2 kids, who needs mommy, and I was really afraid. And, God tell us don't be afraid, but times like that, and then you were alone, they wouldn't let no one come there.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what was your hospital experience?
Well, when they first admitted me, I was in a room by myself. And then another lady ended up coming in there, and she was not doing well. She was just all over the place. And so I asked them to switch me rooms because I couldn't get any sleep. I already wasn't sleeping because I was scared. And so they switched me to another room with another lady. But at the same time, I'm like, well, how can you switch me to another room with someone else who had COVID if you're trying to help me?
Yeah.
Exactly. So someone else next to me has COVID and I have COVID. How are either one of us going to get better? So they ended up switching me to another room, and I'm like, okay. So the lady was real quiet. She read a lot. We heard her daughter would call every time and asking, is that lady still with you, Mom? And she was like, yes, she's still here. She's still here. But
did you all talk to each other at all?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow.
Mm-mm. She was kind of standoffish and thorough. I want to say when you're in that position, I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was just scared. And I'm talking to God. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Let me talk to God first because I'm a little scared here. But no, we never talked, and I didn't know anything about her. And
Wow,
we shared the
that's
same room.
peculiar to me.
So I would say probably a week later, still in the hospital, they come to me. It was about 5 doctors and nurses. And so they come rushing to my room, and I'm looking like, okay, maybe they're going to the lady next to me. No, because they were telling her that she was going to be getting out because her oxygen levels was up. Mine were the only ones that were down. So they came to me and said, well, there's nothing else we can do. We've tried everything we can do. We're going to have to send you to ICU. you're sending who to ICU? I was like, I'm not going to ICU.
So were you still like feeling normal?
I was feeling normal.
Nikki,
But my
get
oxygen
out.
levels was just low. I've always had bronchitis around the same time. So I'm like, oh, well, it's just bronchitis. No big deal. But the cough wasn't really bad to where you see on the news with these people just like coughing nonstop. Mine wasn't like that. It was just a normal bronchitis cough, and I didn't even know I had pneumonia. I didn't know anything. It was just the fever that was high, me being tired, and my oxygen levels dropping.
So were you going to like into acute respiratory failure?
They didn't say that. Mm-mm.
Okay.
They just said that they wanted to send me to ICU to, try to see if my levels would come up over there.
Okay.
To see what they can do more than what the normal nurses or doctors can do. Okay, fine, I'll go.
Okay.
So I ended up going, and then the doctor, he was one of the head nurses, came to the bed and he said, Miss Jones, I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do besides put you on a ventilator. At that time, I lost it because my aunt was on a ventilator. They asked for my husband's number. No, they asked for my mom's number. I couldn't even think of my mom's number. I was like, I don't know her phone number. So at this time, my mind is already cloudy.
So even in 2021, they still weren't letting people come with you or be with you?
Not in the back. After I was on the ventilator, they did.
Okay.
But during the whole course, I was alone. I was by myself.
Oh my God.
No kids, no mommy, no one. I was alone.
Now, did you have any type of, did God visit you in any type of a special way or?
You know what? I don't remember anything. I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember just praying, and a friend of the family sent a prayer cloth from Bishop that she had. And so she sent it for me to lay on me. But I just remember just sometimes you don't know what to say, and all you can say is Jesus or God help me, because there is no way that I'm going out like this. So
and then what were you able to at least talk to your kids on the phone and your husband?
I can't talk to anyone.
What do you mean? They wouldn't let you use the phone?
No. Mm-mm. They had, my mom had took my cell phone and everything, so I had no way to contact anyone. So how they found out that I was on a ventilator is...
Wait a minute, they didn't know beforehand?
Nope. So they're at home like, wait, what? Like, no one ever told us it was this bad. And all of a sudden, a week later, it's a ventilator.
Did they give you like a time frame, like this is just going to be a couple of days, or?
When I went to sleep that night after trying to remember my mom's number, I didn't wake up until January.
So you didn't get to make the call at all?
Nope.
How many days had this been, Nikki?
About a week before they put me on a ventilator. And the ventilator was the first week of December.
Okay.
So I missed Christmas.
You were on the ventilator all this time?
I was on the ventilator until January. 6 weeks. They told me I only had a 3% survival rate. They told my mom and my husband to prepare for a funeral. They told my mom that I'm a very sick young lady, and there was no way that I would be out of there. 3% survival rate.
When you came out of that, what was your first memory?
Looking around like, where am I? I had no nothing. I didn't know anything. I didn't know where I was. They were asking me, what the date was. I had no idea that it was a new year. I missed Christmas. I missed my son's birthday. Like, I missed everything. And I did not know where I was. I didn't know what day it was. The date, the time, nothing. I was just looking around like, where am I? So apparently, when they first transferred me, was after I came out to ventilator. My mom was there every Sunday so I can listen to church, because I'm about church. Send me to church. She was there every Sunday so I can listen to the service, even though I couldn't hear, but she just thought that would make me feel better.
Yes. So after you came out of it, you were obviously, doing better.
Yeah.
How much longer did you have to stay?
So I went to 2 different rehabs because I had to learn how to walk over again. I did not know how to walk.
Oh my God.
So when they were telling me you have to learn how to walk again, I was like, what do you mean? You mean I can't just get out of bed? But the simple things that you take for granted. I'm grateful to be here because from what I was told, there was a lady who came in on a ventilator after me and passed away. And here I am in January. I'm up. It's like God knew that I had more in store. I mean, I'm a deaconess of the church. Like, what? You know, I've been in church all my life, but it's totally different when you're on death's door. It was for a reason, because the people at work don't really believe. And so when I came back, they was like, you're such a miracle. And one of the general managers, before she left, she said, I did not believe in God until I saw what he did for you. She said, all I could do was cry and said, thank you, God.
And you're still there?
I'm still there.
Okay.
I'm still there.
Well, God has planted you for a reason.
Yes.
So, and sometimes it's not always in what we say.
Right.
It's how we live.
Right.
And I mean, wow, you just never know. So this story's not over.
It's not.
You know, as far as even your witness. I've known you a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And your whole demeanor has changed to me. Because it's like, you know, you can just tell with what you've been through, you have a new outlook.
On life. I do. I call these my battle scars, because you guys prayed for me. You know, some of the saints said that they were in the parking lot of the hospital, and, you know, Dr. G and Bishop, when they told me, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Okay. When they told me that Bishop said that God had him to cast out the death angel, and then the next day my stats went up. And I was like, what? Like, that's nothing but God. And then in the parking lot, when Dr. G said that he was talking to his doctor friends, and they were just like, you know, she's gonna die. And he was like, and I started praying and said, God, you know, she cleans your church, she cleans your temple. So, you know, her boys does it too. So what one kid does, clean out her right lung, and what the other son does, clean out the left. So that just I was like, if I could have got out that car and ran around this parking lot, it was just so amazing to hear that, because not everybody's always in your corner when stuff like that happens. So it's just amazing to have prayers of the saints, the people that I know that will reach God. I'm just very grateful for your prayers and the well thoughts, and, you know, God is so good, and I will forever give him thanks, because it was life changing. This is Nikki Jones, and this is my testimony.